A real good moment connects you with another. It bonds you. You feel warmth, unity, empathy, and validation. Welcome to the Miracle Academy podcast. I'm your host, Scotty Cooper. Today we are doing another book review. This book is called The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. So this book was cool because it helped me start to see the world in a different way and looking at how a moment can really change a lot for a person. Let's dive right in. So what makes a moment really special is this acronym of EPIC. So it's elevation, pride, insight, and connection. So those are the things that make a moment special. But we're going to go through and kind of lay out what each of those means. An example of the elevation is kind of you think about the first time you ever go to Disneyland. Now, for me, being in Southern California, my experience might be a little bit different than maybe a family from Minnesota coming to California for the first time. So for kind of thinking through this, we'll put ourselves in the frame of the family from Minnesota. So say you come here, you fly into John Wayne Airport, you fly over my house, and you're like, oh, this is cool. It's nice and warm, nice flight. It's kind of a harsh landing at John Wayne, but nonetheless, it was okay. And if you had to go through and you're going to grade out like each part of your day on a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to look for the peaks and we're going to look for the pits, or the times that were not so great. So let's say we're on the flight and we've got two kids, both kind of younger, and they're crying in the plane. If I had to rate this would probably not be very fun. I'd probably say maybe a 3, and that's only because they fell asleep the second half of the flight. And let's say, okay, now we get off the plane, we get to the airport, and or we get to the hotel, and we're doing a little better, but we're still not having a lot of fun. The next day is our Disneyland day, right? We wake up early, the kids are excited. We wake up at 7 so that they can get ready. If I had to grade out like what we're at 7 a.m., we're excited, but we still got to get them food, get them dressed, get their ears on, and maybe we're at a 5. We walk through Disneyland, we get our tickets, we're going down Main Street, we're like, okay, we're having fun now. Now we're more like a 7. And then we go on the first ride, and the kids, they can't go on the big rides yet, but the thing they really wanted to go on was Pirates of the Caribbean. And they were so excited about that smell the moment you walk in. They're so excited. They're on the ride, and they're at 10. Everyone's at a 10. That first drop just is invigorating, and we're so excited. After Pirates, we're hungry, and we want some corn dogs. So we go back to Main Street. We find a corn dog. We got to wait in line again. So maybe while we're waiting in line, like we have the rush of Pirates, but we're a little bit lower because we're in line again. So maybe we're around 5 or 6, right? When we think about our whole day and we grade out everything, and we have a couple of these times that are high that we've got a 10 or 8 or a 9, the thing that's very interesting is if you were to average out that whole day, what you're going to see is you're going to be probably in the middle somewhere, probably around a 5 or 6 if you had to average everything that whole trip. But what's interesting is when that family goes back to Minnesota and they tell their neighbors about their trip to Disneyland, what are they going to feel and what are they going to remember is those peaks. So the thing is, the power of those peaks makes the whole difference for the experience. And there's a lot of places that are very good at this. Disneyland's one of them, right? They're able to really highlight those peaks. And that's the thing you remember when you go back home. And that's the thing you tell everyone. You tell everyone about when you're on Space Mountain. You don't talk about the time where you're waiting in line for Pizza Port, or whatever it's called now, and how, the pizza was okay. That's not what people remember. They remember Space Mountain because it's a peak. So what I always look to do is how can I make those moments, those peaks in another person's life? Whether that be a person I meet just out and about, could be a practice member, could be an intern, could be something where I deliver something so above what they could have ever expected, that first thing, elevation, and make a big difference for them. So like I said, the elevation, pride, insight, and connection. Elevation is really just being able to rise above something that's kind of out of the mundane. A good example they have in the book is there's this hotel in Los Angeles where by the pool there's a phone, and you go up to the phone and you press a button and they say, "This is the popsicle hotline, what flavor do you want?" That's what the phone is there for. And you say like, "Okay, I want the purple one." In minutes, someone walks out with a purple popsicle on a tray, a platter for you. And it's just such a novel thing that's like, okay, what does that cost? A phone? To have a phone there and popsicles in your freezer and someone to carry it out? But the thing is, that's something that someone's going to remember because that moment is so different than anything else you've ever seen. And that's what I really like to do. In our practice, I like to do that by, saying things that people really wouldn't expect. Like talking about feeling hopeful, or the way that my team, we call everyone by name. That's out of the ordinary. Like so many times you go to a doctor's office and you walk up and they're like, "Name," and you're like, "Bro, I was here yesterday. Like I was the only one here. How do you not remember my name? Like you saw all my info, you saw my address, and you can't remember my name?" But for us, like the second you walk in, you're like, "Oh, hey, Charlie, like how's it going? Nice to see you." But the thing is that makes you feel like you're at home. It elevates the experience. So I always look for that. This graphic kind of shows a little bit about how if you look at if you think the sports, I mean, for me personally, as a kid, I hated football practice. I really did not like it. I loved the games, but I hated practice. And I was okay with dealing with the pit of practice because the games were so much fun. And I remember even when I was younger, and I'd have someone say, "I started playing football and I don't like it." And I said, "Well, have you played a game yet?" I said, "No, just practice." I'm like, "Well, that's why you don't enjoy it, because you're just putting in the work and you're not having much fun yet." I think the coaches that I had, more so in high school and college, that understood that mundaneness and that we needed to make it fun, and it wasn't as much of a pit anymore. But the games were still a peak. And I think the big thing for anyone looking to elevate a moment is how can we limit the pits and raise the peaks? So look for ways that you can do that. So the moments of elevation are experiences that rise above the routine, so they make us feel engaged, joyful, amazed, or motivated. Right? And make sure to stay motivated too. These are my bookmarks, by the way. Thank you, Marco and Charlie. Thank you. Examples of these moments of elevation would be like a birthday party, spontaneous road trips, weddings, football games, public speeches. So some activities do have the built-in peaks. Like I said, going to Disneyland, Space Mountain, is going to be your peak. So there's 3 ways you can create more moments of elevation. You can boost the sensory appeal. That would be like a popsicle. Raise the stakes, or break the script. So breaking the script would be like saying something that would be different. Like I said, saying a person's name, right? Stuff like that. Breaking the script really requires special attention because you have to defy the people's expectation of how the experience will unfold. So, for example, a really good way this happened with me was when I was a child, my family and I were staying at the Hotel del Coronado, which actually you might even see from here. Actually, you can. It's right there. Anyway, really cool hotel. A lot of history there. And it was a really fun experience for us being in San Diego, going there. And I lost my tooth. And when I lost my tooth, I was really afraid because the tooth fairy wasn't going to come to our hotel room because they didn't know where I was at. So what my dad and I did is we walked down to the front desk and we told the front desk person, or the bellman, here's our issue. I lost my tooth. And I'm just a child at this point. And I think my dad was picked me up so I could be at the level of the bellman. He said, here's the thing. I lost my tooth and we're really afraid that Tooth Fairy's not going to find us. And the bellman looks me in the eyes and goes, when they get here, I will make sure. What room are you in again? And we tell him the room. He goes, I will personally make sure the Tooth Fairy finds your room tonight. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, heck yeah, this guy's got my back. The coolest part is in the morning, we go down there and we find that we happen to see that bellman, and he remembered me and my dad and my family. And he goes, hey, how'd it go last night? I showed him up to the room, but our one elevator wasn't working. So I had to take him to this other one so he could find it. Like, how'd it go? I'm like, oh, it was great. Like, thank you so much. But that moment will always stay with me. And I will always remember the way that one person did that. And to him, it was something like just so simple. But like, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. And the thing is, it's like, you saw my face when I pointed to the Hotel Del. It's because I have that feeling of that place because that one person. We could talk about how their brunch is amazing and it's a cool hotel, but that one moment changed everything for me for that one spot. Just by breaking the script between what would be a normal thing. The next part is really funny. It says, the most memorable periods of our lives are times where the script is broken. So when there's that novelty or something's different. The next part I wanted to talk about was moments of insight. So that's kind of the other part of that EPIC acronym is talking about the moments of insight. So moments of insight really deliver realizations and transformations. They don't have to be something like serendipitous. It can be just a small little thing that has that. Tripping over the truth is one of the terms they like to use, where basically it involves a clear insight. It's a short amount of time, and it's discovered by the audience themselves. So the person experiencing it, they have that moment of insight. I see this a lot with our practice when we explain what chiropractic is and the way that your body is healing itself, regulating. It's just like a small moment of insight that's empowering, that's like, wow, this is going to change my life forever. To produce moments of self-insight, we have to stretch. So we have to put ourselves in a new situation that exposes us to a level of failure. Mentors can also help us stretch further than we thought we could. Like, for example, we a couple episodes ago, I had one of my mentors, Roy, here, and he always helps me stretch further to find the next thing I can do. Like, how can I grow a little bit more? And I've had a lot of my mentors on it. I've had my dad, Glenn, Dr. Leah, Roy. I've had so many people that have been there. Tom Land. All of them have helped me stretch and get a little bit further with moments of insight. The next one is moments of pride. So moments of pride is really commemorating your achievements. And this can be a lot of different ways. It can be by recognizing others, by multiplying meaningful milestones, and practicing courage. One of the things that we noticed for myself, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Gallup Strength Finders. Gallup Strength Finders is it's this quiz that allows you to look at your specific strengths. And my third strength is called an achiever. So an achiever is a person that just goes and executes and gets things done. It's not my main strength, but it's one of them, and it's something that's a really big part of myself. My father is also an achiever. It makes sense by all the things he does. But that's why he and I, both just have this motor of just like keep going. Anyway, knowing that I'm an achiever and that I'm always looking for the next thing to do and to get done, I was having a problem because I wasn't celebrating my wins. I wasn't noticing my milestones and really elevating them. So something that we really did is we focused our time, our energy to celebrating that. And one of the things that we started with our team is having a Wednesday night dinner every week with our whole team. And whoever is available to come, they come to dinner, we hang out, we eat together, we celebrate. And it's nice because it's helped in different parts of our camaraderie as a team. But it started off as, I got to celebrate because we're doing really great things. And what's funny, one of my other mentors, Patrick Gentempo, one of his quotes is that, people that aren't producing and aren't accomplishing are the ones out partying. Whereas the people that are producing are normally not the ones partying and celebrating. This is kind of funny, but it's nice when you can be the guy that's the guy or gal that's achieving and also be able to celebrate it. So being able to recognize that pride. And that's something I do with our team and our practice members too. Like when a miracle happens, I want to record it. Or when our team does something amazing, I want to give them recognition. And there's some people that like the public recognition and some that just like the personal. And the thing is that kind of comes down to knowing your audience, knowing your team, And that's what I normally like to do with our team. The next part of this is talking about the moments of connection. So a real good moment connects you with another. It bonds you. You feel warmth, unity, empathy, and validation. To spark a moment of connection for groups, there has to be shared meaning. And there's 3 different strategies: either creating a synchronized moment, inviting a shared struggle, or connecting to the meaning. Something we do with our practice is we have this meaning, we have this purpose to serve God by serving and saving mankind through the gift of chiropractic. The difference between that and purposes of another practice is so different. And when you hear a purpose like ours, it gets you juiced. You're like, I don't even know what that means yet, but I know that that's what I like. My personal purpose is to connect people to their true self, right? I feel like when people hear that and they can connect to that meaning, they're like, wow, that's amazing. That's cool that that's what you stand for. People will always they'll always back you up if they know why you're doing it. If you start with why instead of the what, it always makes it better. What I noticed too was when I played high school football and we had all these different players from different backgrounds and different upbringings, and what our coach recognized was that if we struggled together and we like bonded over that, we could create some tremendous bonds. And I don't necessarily like that in my practice. I don't really need to do that, but I saw a place for it there, that we would have these really crazy workouts that were like stupid, insane, but like when you look back, you have these bonds because you did it together. You had that training together, and that's one of those ways you can do it. I personally, at this point in my life, connect more with the connecting to meaning, which is more so the why. I think overall with this book, it gave me a good illustration of how can I elevate a moment, how can I create more of those peaks in my life and the people's lives around me, and that's like my favorite part of that. And I now look for moments of that. So for example, we had one of our team members just do so well, and I'm so proud of her in the way she handled this specific situation. And my dad and I decided to surprise her with something just completely out of the ordinary. We just told her, like, we're gonna send you on a vacation. You tell me where you want to go, give me some dates, and we'll pick it out. And it was cool because she kind of like shocked, like, what did you just say? And it was cool because it was like, this is a moment that I got to recognize her, and I got to connect her to this because it's like, you so align with what we're doing. I appreciate it, and I want to make this like a big peak for you. And I hope that that's something that she'll remember. But I think this is just a great book. So in my office, I've got these different bookshelves. I've got like different shelves of my books. I've got business books. I've got more kind of spirituality, meditation books. I've got way of being books. And then I got a couple other shelves. This one's under my way of being book, and on that shelf, and that's why I like it. I like that it changes the way I am and the way that I interact with others. So either way, I highly recommend you reading this. Thank you so much for watching this, and this is the Miracle Academy podcast. I'm your host, Scotty Cooper. This is where miracles are expected, and make sure you